The night has settled over the city like a velvet curtain, and the streets hum with the quiet whispers of unseen conversations. In the glow of flickering street lamps, a lone figure walks, shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on the darkened windows of a building that once thrummed with laughter and love. Inside, a silence grows thick, a pressure that feels as though it could crush a heart. Who can feel that weight? Who has ever stood in the shadow of a partner's silence, feeling the space between words become a void that swallows hope? Imagine being in a room where every word you utter is met with a stone gaze, a refusal to engage, a coldness that drips like midnight oil. The silence is not a pause. It is a weapon. It is a deliberate, silent storm that rages inside the mind, a storm that can erode trust, fracture identity, and leave you wondering if the love you once held was ever real. Have you ever felt the sting of a silence that feels louder than 1,000 shouted apologies? Have you ever watched your own reflection in a window and seen a stranger staring back, someone you have lost in the abyss of unspoken words? The silent treatment is a paradoxical beast. It is both an absence and presence, a void that fills the air with dread, and a presence that lingers, refusing to be dismissed. It is a silent scream, a quiet accusation that echoes through the corridors of your mind, demanding attention while offering none. It is an invisible hand that pushes you away, the unseen force that pulls you deeper into the abyss. How many times have you found yourself waiting for a response that never comes, only to be left with a hollow echo that reverberates in your chest? How does one navigate a relationship where the most powerful weapon is the absence of sound? In the shadows of our psyche, the silent treatment is not merely a tactic of control. It is a manifestation of deeper, darker currents. It is the echo of unresolved trauma, the residue of childhood wounds, the lingering imprint of a shadow self that refuses to be acknowledged. When a partner chooses to silence, they are not just withholding words. They are projecting their own inner turmoil onto you, turning the intimacy of dialogue into a battlefield of unspoken fears. Does the silence you experience carry the weight of an ancient curse, or is it a reflection of your own hidden fears? As we walk this dimly lit path together, we will explore how the silent treatment is more than a simple interpersonal strategy. It is a doorway into the labyrinth of our own unconscious. We will journey into the realms where the mind meets the metaphysical, where the boundaries of the self blur into the unknown. We will uncover the hidden energies that stir beneath the surface, the subtle currents that make silence a powerful spell. How might the silent treatment be a mirror reflecting your own internal darkness? What secrets does it hide, waiting to be discovered? In this journey, you will find that the silent treatment is not a simple puzzle with a clear solution. It is a complex tapestry woven from threads of fear, control, and the unspoken. The questions that linger: who is the real author of the silence? What does it say about the nature of our connections? Are the ones that will guide us deeper into the heart of the matter? The answers, when they finally surface, will not be handed to you. They will be revealed through a process of self-discovery and daring introspection. So, as the night deepens and the city lights flicker like distant stars, let us step into the shadows together. Let us peel back the layers of silence and uncover the hidden truths that lie beneath. Are you ready to confront the darkness that has taken hold of your relationship? Are you prepared to face the silent storm within and outside you, and to learn the ancient, forbidden wisdom that can turn silence into a catalyst for healing? The journey begins now in the quiet between words, where the greatest revelations await. What if the silence that hangs between you and your partner is not merely an absence of words, but a living, breathing entity that thrives on cracks in your confidence? Imagine a creature that feeds on the echoes of your own insecurities, growing larger with each unspoken accusation. How would you feel if this creature began to shape the very architecture of your thoughts, turning familiar rooms into labyrinths of doubt? When the silent treatment takes root, it does more than mute conversation. It rewires neural pathways. In the quiet, the brain's default mode network, responsible for self-referential thinking, becomes hyperactive. You start to replay scenarios, layering what if upon what if, and the mind becomes a carousel of imagined rebukes. This internal echo chamber can distort reality, making a single unspoken moment feel like an eternity of judgment. Do you ever catch yourself spiraling into a loop of self-blame, convinced that the silence is a verdict rather than a reaction? Moreover, the silent treatment can act as a covert form of emotional blackmail. By withholding affection and dialogue, the silent partner sets a rule: speak, and I will return to you. Stay silent, and I will remain distant. This dynamic places a victim in a perpetual state of anticipation, a psychological tug-of-war that erodes trust. The victim's brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone, and the chronic activation of this stress response can weaken immune function and deepen feelings of helplessness. How many times have you felt the weight of a decision that feels more like a threat than a choice? In Jungian terms, this silence is projection of the shadow self. When one refuses to engage, they are not only withholding communication, they are externalizing their own unresolved conflicts. The silent partner may be grappling with inner demons, fear of intimacy, shame, or a wounded sense of self that they cannot articulate. By refusing to speak, they create a safe distance that shields them from confronting these shadows. This dynamic invites the other person to step into the role of a reluctant hero, tasked with navigating the darkness without a map. Have you ever felt the urge to become a silent detective, piecing together motives that never surface? Simultaneously, the silent treatment can trigger the fight-flight-freeze response. In the absence of verbal cues, the body's autonomic nervous system defaults to a defensive posture. The heart races, the palms sweat, and the mind seeks escape routes, either through withdrawal or through a desperate attempt to force conversation. When the silent partner remains unmoved, the victim's body may enter a frozen state, paralyzed by fear of confrontation. This paralysis can lead to a deeper sense of isolation, as if the world is narrowed to a single, unyielding void. What does it feel like to be trapped in a room where the walls whisper only silence? Another layer worth exploring is the cultural ritual of silence as a form of excommunication. In many ancient societies, silence was a punitive measure used to ostracize dissenters, a way to enforce conformity. In the modern context, the silent treatment can echo this ritualistic practice, labeling the silent partner as a pariah within the relationship. The victim may feel as if they are being exiled, not by a social group, but by the very person they love. This sense of exile can amplify feelings of worthlessness and heighten the fear of being abandoned. Are you ready to confront the possibility that your relationship might be mirroring an ancient rite of separation? Consequently, the silent treatment is not a simple tactic. It is a complex, multi-layered phenomenon that intertwines neurobiology, psychology, and cultural history. It is a silent storm that can both erode and reveal, a paradox that forces us to confront our deepest fears. By recognizing the silent treatment as a living entity, one that thrives on our insecurities and feeds on our unspoken doubts, we can begin to map its territory. The first step toward reclaiming agency is to acknowledge that the silence is a mirror, reflecting back the shadows we have yet to illuminate. As the night deepens, the weight of unspoken words settles like a quiet tide, and the path ahead begins to glimmer with a new kind of light. You have walked the corridors of silence, felt the walls close in, and seen how the absence of dialogue can stretch and warp the very fabric of a bond. Now, imagine those same walls beginning to crack, not with the force of storm, but with the gentle pressure of a tide that slowly lifts, revealing hidden chambers within the stone. The silence has been a mirror, reflecting back the parts of ourselves that we often keep locked away. It has been a stage upon which we play the roles of the wounded, the seeker, the reluctant hero, each performance echoing a deeper rhythm that has been playing beneath our conscious awareness. In that rhythm, you find a pattern, a pulse that has been humming quietly in the background, waiting for a cue to turn from a muted hum into a resonant chord. In the dim glow of this revelation, the threads that once seemed disparate begin to weave together into a tapestry that is at once intricate and harmonious. The unseen forces that shape our reactions, the ancient echoes that whisper through our lineage, and the quiet energy that lingers in our shared moments. All of these elements swirl around us like a storm of light. They do not simply coexist. They dance, each step echoing the other, creating a choreography that is both inevitable and transformative. Picture a garden that has been overgrown, where vines twist around trunks and roots press against stone. At first glance, it looks like a tangle, but as you pause, you notice that each vine is a conduit, each root a channel for nourishment. When you gently prune, you do not remove the vines. You guide them, allowing the light to filter through and the garden to breathe anew. In much the same way, the silence that has long held you captive is not a static barrier. It is a living, breathing entity that can be coaxed, redirected, and ultimately transformed into a source of growth. You've already felt the tremor of that shift, the subtle shift in your own heartbeat, as you begin to recognize that the silence is not a punishment, but a conversation in disguise. It is a call to look inward, to meet the parts of yourself that have been silenced by fear or by habit. As you stand at this threshold, the air feels charged with possibility, as if the very walls are holding their breath, waiting for the next breath you will take. In this moment of anticipation, the path forward is illuminated not by a single light, but by a constellation of insights that have been gathering, each star a fragment of understanding that, together, chart a route through the darkness. The journey you have embarked upon has been one of peeling back layers, of learning that the most profound revelations often come from the quietest places. And now, as the night continues to unfold, the horizon is no longer a distant line, but promise of new horizons waiting to be explored. Reflecting on this journey so far, you may sense that the silence that once seemed impenetrable is now a doorway, a passage that invites you to step into a space where the unknown is not feared but embraced. The silence has become a teacher, its lessons written in pauses, its wisdom encoded in the spaces between words. It is an invitation to listen not only to what is spoken, but to what is left unsaid, to hear the music of the unspoken, and to find a rhythm that resonates with your own heart. With this understanding, the next step is to carry this awareness forward, to let the quiet become a companion rather than a foe. The silence will no longer be an obstacle but a guide, a subtle compass pointing toward deeper connection, toward a more authentic self, and toward a relationship that is not defined by the absence of words, but by the depth of understanding that fills the void. The silence that once seemed a void has, over the course of our conversation, revealed itself as a mirror, an echo that reflects not only the fractures we fear, but also the potential for rebirth. In its quiet, we have traced a path from the raw pain of being unheard to the possibility of a dialogue that transcends mere words, reaching into the very marrow of our shared humanity. As we close this chapter, the resonance of that echo does not fade. It becomes a steady pulse that invites us to listen anew. When we step out of the shadows of the silent treatment, we find ourselves standing at the threshold of a new kind of communication, one that is not built on the exchange of sentences, but on the exchange of presence. Presence is a language of the heart that does not require a script. It is a gentle, unspoken understanding that can bridge the distance created by 1,000 unvoiced grievances. In this light, the weight of silence transforms from a burden into a catalyst for deeper intimacy, a reminder that connection can thrive even when the tongue is silent. The true practice begins now, not with grand gestures, but with the quiet acknowledgement of our own shadows. It is in the deliberate pause, where breath meets breath, that we find the space to honor the other's unspoken fears, while also affirming our own. By recognizing that silence is a space of potential rather than a void of absence, we open the door to a more compassionate dance, where each step is guided by empathy and each pause is a chance for growth. As you carry this insight into the world, remember that the silent treatment is not a fixed verdict, but a dynamic moment, a point of divergence where the path can either lead to isolation or to a deeper, more authentic understanding. The choice lies in how we respond to the silence, how we choose to fill the space with presence, curiosity, and vulnerability. In that choice, we find the true power of the human connection, a power that is not measured by the volume of words, but by the depth of listening. Let the quiet become a companion on your journey, a reminder that sometimes the most profound conversations happen when we simply sit together in the shared silence. Allow that silence to be a canvas on which you paint the colors of your own truth, and watch as the other's shadow lightens in the reflection. The silent spaces between us are not empty. They are the fertile ground where new understanding can sprout, where the roots of relationship can deepen and intertwine. In this final moment, let us hold on to knowledge that every silence carries a story, and every story holds a possibility of healing. The echo of our words may fade, but the echo of our presence can linger, resonating in the quiet spaces of our hearts. As you step forward, let the silent treatment no longer be a weight, but a doorway, an invitation to walk into the unknown with courage, curiosity, and an open heart. The true practice begins now. And with each silent breath, you're crafting a new narrative, one that is richer, more compassionate, and infinitely more alive.